Sometimes I feel the depths of the universe when I daydream. All the trillions upon trillions of possible realities and scenarios, and I find myself being submerged in a very real reality that's just somewhere else far off, but happening right now. Okay, so I wrote that at 2 a.m. last night when I was coming out of a daydream, and I wanted to read it because I feel like it has this parallel to Mia. Mia's one of my heroes, and all the kids of Watts. And it's just a great parallel, and so I wanted to start with that. Okay, my name is Nicholas. I like to draw superheroes, as you've seen, and I have a few more superheroes that I'm gonna introduce to you right now. So if you just watch there. So Devin Feldmuth and I have been cooking up this idea where she basically came to me and she said, I think we should like go to all of the kids in Watts and then, figure out what they're like and then pair a certain superhero to that kid. And I thought that was a great idea. So when you meet these kids, they have the most amazing golden hearts. They care for their community, they care for each other, and it's what we like to call altruism. It's not really about how fast you are, it's not really about how tall you are, or how strong you are. Like super villains are also all of that, but it's about what you do with what you have. So like these kids, they have altruism. They're superheroes, and so we wanna showcase that as much as possible. This is Stryker. He's the man. And next you're gonna see Little Miss Disney. Does anybody know Disney? She's amazing. Okay, she's Miss Marvel. She's incredible. So what Devin said is, I think we should go ahead and like make a book called Megawatts. And so Megawatts is gonna, yes, yes. Okay, Megawatts is gonna stay tuned. It'll come out at some point, and it's gonna feature all the kids of Watts, and they're gonna be awesome. They're gonna be super, and they have so much potential, and they're gonna be doing so many things in the future. And I'm gonna get to that at the end of the presentation. But before that, I want to talk a little bit about who I am and how I got here. I'm a concept artist, and I'm a theme park designer, and a children's book author, and an activist. And I am from the great state of Texas, and specifically Houston, Texas, and specifically the suburbs of Houston, Texas. And the reason why I bring up the suburbs is because the suburbs, I loved growing up in the suburbs, but now that I'm out, the suburbs are very clean when you look at it, nice, beautiful, but they can also be very cold, and in terms of community. And everybody has their little plot of land, and they have their little mini castle, and they've worked very hard at making it nice and comfortable on the inside, and they live inside. And there's not a whole lot of like going out and like, this is my line and don't cross that line, especially in the era today of, NRA love and, stand your ground. It's like, don't step on my side, or you might, you might get shot. Like, it's really interesting these days. And this community is, when I came here, I fell in love because it's different. Like, everybody's yard is everybody else's yard. It's like, this is all one big house, it feels like. And so I think that's one thing that Watts has that I think that's something that they can teach the rest of America, really. That's something that a lot of communities in America don't have. And so flashback to about a year ago this time, I was invited to the White House. And when I was there, I told you I like to draw superheroes. I did the Obama family as the Incredibles. You may have seen it on Facebook. We got this mandate from President Obama down through the My Brother's Keeper initiative, which basically says you need to reach down to the younger generation below you and pull them up and steer them in the right direction. And this is a mandate from President Obama. So I'm like, this is something that I take seriously. Okay, so I came back here, I look at the community that, I volunteer in, and I was looking at it, and this is kind of like the tough love moment. I think that if President Obama saw this, he would say, this is great, this is a great center, this is a great community, but it can be better. And I think we can do better. I think Imperial Courts can be one of the top 10 communities in America. And I don't mean that lightly. I think we can be. Thank you. Thank you. Seriously. So, as a concept artist, what I do is I create what I want to see. So what I've created is Imperial Courts Rec Center 2.0. And what this is I thought, the city has done a great job of presenting us, a playground, a place for the kids to play. But what about nourishment? Like, the kids need good food to eat. So ICRC 2.0 is that. I think we should have permanent, fruit and vegetable gardens. Why not have a place where everybody in Watts can come to the center and actually get food because you planted that food? Like if you want tomatoes, grow tomatoes. If you want greens, if you want strawberries, grow them, And so I think that's something that we can do easily. That's like, why aren't we doing this right now? That's something that there's a level of freedom and self-reliance that you can build upon if you have that, and I think we have to do that. And I didn't want to just stop there, so I have Watts Imperial Courts Rec Center 3.0 also, and 3.0 is that. I think we shouldn't just stop there. I think we should also feed the mind if we're going to feed, stomachs. So what this is, let's take the gold mine that is the internet, okay, and step away from the Drake videos and the cat videos for a minute and realize that there are some gems on the internet that these kids need to see. I think why not have a full-length touchscreen monitor there that every time a kid steps up to that, he sees a potentially life-changing experience. He could be looking at the Falcon 9 rocket launch from SpaceX. He could be looking at any type of these things that could be life-changing. There's entire Harvard classes that are free curriculum online. You might see a LED ticker that talks about, it might have geometry symbols. It might have algebra equations going across. You might actually see this guy, Elon, on the screen. And the kid will walk up to it, and he'll start touching things, and he'll be like, okay, what's this rocket about? Who's Elon? This is Elon. His name is Elon Musk. Every kid in Watts needs to know who Elon Musk is, okay? Every kid. Every adult in Watts needs to know who Elon Musk is. He started SpaceX. He's made it his life mission to take human civilization to another planet and make us a multiplanetary species. Now, this is beyond huge, and everybody needs to know who he is. This class that's coming up, this young generation, it's pretty much the class of 2030, high school graduating class. And I tell them a lot of times, I say, when you're my age, you're not gonna need to know how to drive a car, you know that, right? All the cars on the road are gonna drive themselves. And when you turn 50, you're gonna be able to pretty much take a weekend trip to Mars and come back, right? And they're like, what? I don't even understand how, but this guy is making it happen. So, back to the Obamas. What the Obama administration and even the current administration, what they did is they tapped NASA and they said, we need you to put your resources to getting humans to Mars ASAP. And so that's the Obamas on Mars. And the cool thing about it is NASA is now partnering with private companies like SpaceX to make this a reality. So you say, how is this going to happen? Well, Elon has this little baby right here called the Falcon 10 Heavy. All the kids need to know about the Falcon 10 Heavy. That Falcon 10 Heavy is a beast of a spacecraft that's going to change human civilization. And so you might ask then, well, where do they build this stuff? Where is this secret SpaceX headquarters? Is it in Florida? Is it in Houston? How about it's in California? How about it's in Los Angeles, California? How about it's 10 minutes down the road? 10 minutes. Hop on 105, 10 minutes down the road. We need to be sending busloads of Watts kids over to SpaceX as soon as possible. Thank you. Like, this needs to happen, okay? Um, I I had a chance to have a tour of SpaceX last year with my coworkers, and it was on a Saturday afternoon. So naturally, I was out here with the kids, and then I hop in my car, and I open up Google Maps. And I'm like, how do I get to SpaceX? And then I realized, I'm like, am I the first person who's asked Google how to get from Imperial Courts to SpaceX? And I was like, I think I am. And then I thought, if I'm the first person, I do not want to be the last person. Like, we need to have weekly trips or monthly trips or something to get as many people. When you get there, it's like they're building building size spacecraft, and the guys are just like sitting in the barrel, just hammering away, just changing the course of human civilization. It's like, it's the strangest sight. But yeah, so also in honor of this being March and Women's History Month, I wanted to point out this very important fact. Out of all of the astronomers and physicists in the world, that percentage are female. So that percentage, that's like 11%. And that needs to change. And I think it has to do with the perceptions that we put on people, like to say, you're supposed to play with trucks, or you're supposed to play with dolls, and like we put these perceptions on people, and all of that has to be turned around. And also, out of every 1,000 teenage girls, only 4 of them will go on to study computer science. And we really need computer science to get these spacecrafts into orbit. So, and of course, we took the kids to see Hidden Figures last month. And so it was great. It was great. They started to, you could see how they were starting to like put the pieces together to say, this is the history of women and NASA and getting us into space. And it was just a beautiful sight to see. Really beautiful. So in conclusion, I just want to say that these kids are brilliant, and we need to basically just give them every opportunity to succeed, every opportunity that every other kid in America has. We need to give them that opportunity, and we need to be able to level the playing field a bit. Because one day we're gonna look up and we're gonna say, the kids of Watts saved the world. Thank you.